In this video, we're going to be talking about gold and silver versus cryptocurrency or Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we're going to talk about the difference between the two and what's the potentially the better stock over the long term, and as well as what's the technical analysis look like on the long term with these stocks. So without further ado, I'm Stonkanachi, and we're going to cover that in this video. Please subscribe if you're new and hit the like button and turn your notification on. That way you don't miss any videos. And so looking at the 12-month, we have gold, and as you can see, it's been on a good run ever since 1928. So if you think gold is expensive now, it's probably going to continue to be expensive. And when we look at my indicator here, it has crossed into the green. And haven't been around long enough, even though it is my indicator, to know what this means necessarily. But when it crossed to the downside in 2014, it did have a big correction. So as it went from, on this candle, somewhere in 1400 to 1100 down to basically right here 2200 when it crossed to the green. So not necessarily a good timing indicator, but it is a big swing type of indicator, and could be a counter signal as well this high of a time frame. So definitely something to look for on gold. But we've had a big run up and sideways, and then another big run up. Some sideways might be pretty good, but that's enough on the super high time frame. Looking at the 6-month, we are getting a little bit overbought at 85 on the RSI. So not necessarily a top indicator by itself, but last time it got 85, it did stay bullish for, another 3-4 years. So could see another 3-4 years of upside in gold. But, on the short term, which is really still the long term, on the 3-month, we are looking like we could keep going. And on the monthly, maybe a little bit of bearish divergence forming, so could see a pullback in gold. But over the long term, probably going to go to the upside. But in the short term, based on the weekly, bearish divergence probably does pull back or go sideways for a while. And we'll look into silver. And speaking of silver and gold, they are, off of everything that I've looked at, probably going to be the better one over the long term over crypto. And with the way Ethereum and Bitcoin really haven't went that much to the upside, I could see gold and silver kind of outperforming them to a certain point next cycle. But that's just kind of my own beliefs. But we do look at the weekly, we do have some bearish divergence right here. If you count this high, this high, and this high, so probably does pull back a little bit on the weekly. But you can really use silver and gold for stuff, whereas something like Ethereum, I'm sure people will say there's a lot of use cases for them, but from basically everything I've researched and looked into, it's just a good stock to trade. And Bitcoin's great, or has been pretty great, but when you know a little bit about the fundamentals of Bitcoin, once you mine the Bitcoin and you turn your miners on and you made the nice 900% gains, you then have to sell your Bitcoin and wait for it to become profitable to mine again. And so as it pulls back, you have to wait before you turn your miners back on, is basically what I'm saying. So in order to mine it, you have to sell it, which gold and silver are no different. But I don't know. Who knows? But these things really pull back 80% in the downsides, whereas something like gold, it's not, probably doesn't pull back that far. So we can just look at the last cycle, pulled back 45%. So that's a big difference, especially when off the low. If you would have bought the low right here in, let's make it fair, all right, October 22, you'd be up 80%. And if you would have bought Bitcoin, where's it at here? I'm losing Bitcoin. Okay, there it is. So if you'd have bought Bitcoin, you would have been up. Okay, if you'd have bought at the low, you'd be up 400%. So definitely a little more risky to be in Bitcoin, but gold's one over the long term you can depend on. Can we depend on crypto? Time will definitely tell. So, and with that being said, we can check out oil. This is USO stock, and as you can see, we're going sideways. Not a whole lot to judge off of this. If we go to the 8-month, looking kind of bullish. Hopefully this one doesn't go up too much, because that's going to make gas prices go up. But it looks like in the near term we could be seeing cheaper gas prices and a lowering of the oil. So that's pretty good. Could be seeing oil coming down, and yeah, we can check out the S&P 500, and as you can see on the daily, we are potentially getting into a bounce region off the daily time frame, and the 6-hour has crossed above the RSI. So, and if we look at the futures chart, we can get a little bit of a heads up on what's happening, and we also have the 12-hour crossed RSI to the upside. So, this is pretty bullish. Last time we got one like this was right here, and it did have a small pop up above the moving averages and then pulled back. So could be seeing a pop up to 6,040 and then pulling back from there. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Just my opinions for sure. And Costco, we were saying it was looking juicy, and based off the 6-hour. So we're going to see how this plays out tomorrow. Would be looking for Costco to potentially go to the upside. But, with that being said, we do have weekly bearish divergence forming. But, you want bearish divergence, because that's going to mean the stocks usually go into the upside. But, it is where they can also pull back from. So definitely something to think about with that. And with that, thank y'all. See you next time.